What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be talking about the XRP price chart and why the price action that we're seeing right here is totally normal. But we're going to incorporate in some of the things that were talked about yesterday in markets in the morning when it comes to the broader market, the altcoin market, the crypto market, Bitcoin, the perplexity of the dominances in here, but in general with XRP, reiterating why it was not surprising to see a big event like that happen here on the XRP price chart, where we consider that to be like the violent backtest, now looking for a V bottom. Throughout all of December, we spent our time discussing this range format and looking for that to conclude itself there for the XRP price chart to eventually get a breakup. It was brought up in essentially every video throughout December and into January, which is what this structure was here for the XRP price chart. Now you'd be asking yourself, why would you be looking for that particular structure to emerge right here, right now with where we've been? And it's due to how the breakout for XRP took place here throughout the crypto market and where we were in regards to our range. So you could see back in here when discussing this type of accumulation to break out and have a violent backtest, it's after you go through a big escape of a range, and it's really the first correction that happens here after taking out that previous high. And of course, that's where we've been in here. Stuck in this range for years, we escape. That's the first correction after taking out the previous high. Then you're typically going to escape that range and have violence come afterwards. That's what all of these are. In all of these scenarios that we've looked at in here, these are after escaping big ranges and then eventually having a violent backtest happen. Another way to look at that is to really just take that whole concept and extrapolate it out further and stretch it to understand the ABC, the prolonged accumulation, and then eventually that, right? You break out and then you have the violent backtest happen in here once that range is escaped. So looking for something like that to happen in here was appropriate. Question was, where was it going to come from? Was it going to come from higher here? At what price point? Didn't really know, but certainly appropriate and something that we typically see happen after you get past those previous highs, the double tap, bull flag, the breakout, the violent backtest. And right now, it's just kind of like waddling around in here, like we're just hanging out in here, waiting for the new range to build, and then eventually try to go up and to the right. So I've tried to give some past examples of just how these ranges can end up playing in here before the price truly does escape out of this range, and that we can spend some time waddling around in here, still going back into the retracement levels and continuing to build a range before ultimately being able to escape out. So the price action that we're seeing right now, totally not any different from what I would have expected. That's what I tweeted over here on February 3rd. That concludes the violent backtest and a fantastic daily V-shaped recovery like it never happened, closing the day green. We'll likely chop around here for some time, which is to be expected. Again, showing that look, there's going to be chop in here likely, and this wouldn't be anything unexpected in here. Showed the example as well to kind of give it an idea on how much time can be spent in a range like this, right? Wouldn't be unusual for it to take as long on this range as it did on the last one, but it would also insinuate that we're probably over halfway done with the current range at this point. It's not going to look like the last one did, but just to kind of give you an idea how long these have historically taken, gives you kind of a ballpark that, by the end of February, trying to get a breakout happening in here. But as of right now, I think the thing that we're actually really just kind of trying to see happen is to see that a support pulls in here and then it can shoot itself back up into these retracement levels. And not just here for XRP, but also over here for the entire altcoin market, that this would make this whole thing just an ABC correction happening in here. And that right now, we just need that one more push up in here to go ahead and reclaim the whole move that happened. And then we're welcome to stall out in here for a little while, which also would have confluence with what we're talking about over here on XRP, that it would likely stall in here for just a minute before then being able to escape out of here. So right now we're watching for it for the whole market here to prove that as well, to go ahead and get that push up, go ahead and reclaim these areas. And then my thoughts are it's probably going to stall out after that for a little while. But of course, a place to keep an eye on that would be over here on the Russell 2000. It's been a little while since we talked about this thing, but still to this day, it continues to be what the crypto market is following. And there's all the narratives of it being Bitcoin is like gold, but we just continue to see this to this day. Still Looking over here at the Russell 2000, you can see, of course, we get the break happens here first with the Russell back in November. Cryptocurrency market follows behind and goes into the wild ride that we have. The Russell stalls out when it gets back to the all-time high. Then we see that crypto and the Russell fall together. You can see all this behavior. This is total 3 overlaid here on top of the Russell 2000. Then what do we have? The big sell-off that happens in the Russell happens in the cryptocurrency market Sunday night when the markets opened up over there in the futures. And well, what do you know? We're just still continuing to do exactly what you have happening over here in broader markets at the same time, right? But if you notice this over here on the Russell 2000, what has already happened? Look at that. The Russell 2000 is already shot back up to these levels in here right now, whereas crypto hasn't followed along. So you have a little bit of optimism in here to think that might be coming. The equivalence of where the Russell is, it's like being right there. But, I think what we'd really, of course, like to see happen in here is to see the Russell be able to actually escape from this range. Because right now, this is really the top of the range boundary that it's been stuck in ever since December 18th. If it breaks out of here and shoots out, that gives quite a bit of reassurance for those things that we're looking at over there in the crypto market, which have been following so closely. So the first optimistic sign is we do at least see that already, right? We could see that this is where the Russell broke, and that's where crypto broke. They broke from the same levels. The Russell has already led its way back to those levels at the same time. We're just kind of waiting for our turn over here. But even if we get a breakout happening over here in the Russell, it's still just like, okay, we can sit here and ponder all the crypto-related things all we want, but we clearly see the evidence still happening in here that we're following along with this guy. So I think if we had a situation right now where this didn't happen over here on the Russell and the Russell has maybe gone on and broken out and gone into new lows or something like that, we'd be sitting here thinking, ugh. But we do already see evidence of that already happening right now. So it still gives the optimistic view that this setup is correct. We are just waiting at this point for a move to come in and push the price back up into the retracement levels. So when we're talking about all these things, I like to give as many examples as I can so you can see things through the lens that I am, that it's not like some secret voodoo guru magic that I've got going on over here. It's to contextualize everything in the way I'm looking at it, that this would be like an ABC correction, kind of like what you got back at the all-time high back in 2017. You do get an ABC correction before things get going, and that when we're looking at it through the lens of things like XRP, why would we look for some type of violent backtest to be happening in here? It would be because we just escaped a huge range. That's typically what happens in these environments, and that's why we show all these examples of that occurring in this type of an environment. And then at the same time, being realistic about it, that it's been following the Russell 2000. We see it with clear evidence that the price is still behaving along with this. And we do already see that the Russell 2000 has shifted its way back up to the top of the range after having that big dramatic fall happen in there. So you could see things exactly the same way that I see them. So you're not relying on me having some guru secrets that I'm not sharing with you. You understand it, you see it. If we get the Russell to break out of here, it's likely going to be very optimistic for this over here in regards to the whole market at the exact same time. The Russell is currently above that 786 retracement level once again right now. So obviously a continued push higher, likely very optimistic for the whole crypto market. As for the dominances, we talked about this on Monday. We talked about it in Markets in the Morning. Of course, we get to our phase and then goes the opposite way, right? Still, nothing crazy happens in here. It's not like it breaks out by any means. Question is, of course, in Markets in the Morning, the constant question is when moon, when end, when's it going to happen, right? If we continue at that velocity, it still puts you there in March. Question is, does that change time? We'll see. Like, let's pretend you moved at this pace right in here, right? If this just kind of kept going at like it's doing and like it hasn't changed in any way of what's happening in here. Still, even if you just did that, right, you followed it, it's still April. So I still don't see any evidence suggesting that like there's some year-long event happening in here. Like even if you kind of played with the idea on Bitcoin, which we still don't know if this is true. This is a highly complicated range, but like even if you assumed being in here is still just something like being right in here, giving you an idea on how long we've spent in here and how long this range took historically, right? Like the second half of the range before the market was over is that it was over in about an equivalent amount of time as the first half of the range, right? And so like if you're at about 84 days right now, move forward about 84 days, that too puts you in about April. We still don't know if this is going to end up being the thing that happens in there. But until something different shows up in the market to suggest otherwise, these are just the kind of things I have to look at when it comes to timing. If Bitcoin surprises and just goes, well, then probably the timing's probably going to change, right? But as long as things are just kind of continuing to look like things that are similar, then we can kind of have a ballpark idea. And as long as things kind of look similar, we can kind of have a ballpark idea. But timing is very difficult to guess. But still right now, I just still don't see anything really kind of suggesting otherwise. Also, we did see the Bitcoin dominance hit the 702 Fibonacci retracement in that. That is what it did back in here, back in 2020 and 21. Twitter retail sentiment is overwhelmingly there's going to be no alt season. I undoubtedly think there will be. I think the biggest challenge still, even for me trying to figure out, is how is that going to look like? We know in 2021, it was only 20% of crypto coins that were capable of setting new all-time highs. What are going to be those similar traits amongst them that are capable of doing it? But there's evidence we're obviously seeing things happen in this market. It's just obviously very scattered between who's doing well and who's not. And the obvious clear sector or ecosystem that is the biggest struggle throughout crypto is the Ethereum ecosystem, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's layer twos, just anything associated with Ethereum has been the absolute pull down and biggest laggards, including in my portfolio. Anything that I have that is like layer two related or Ethereum related, it has been the thing that's been holding me back, whereas anything made in America related has just completely been pushing the portfolio up. So overall, the things I'm watching for right now is to see how's the Russell going to react here to the top of this range. We know that crypto's been following along with the Russell very closely. And while we've already got the Russell back to the top of the range, now just waiting on crypto to follow along, which I think we'll see evidence of happening over here for that to have been a capitulative ABC ending, then to also get XRP to shift back up into the top of the range at the same time. My best guess is we probably see a stall out happen here for a minute before things can go, and that would have Confluence with us stalling out in here, as you would think would end up happening. And then ultimately it leads to the big parabola coming here to wrap things up over the next couple of months. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now. I think the first step we're just looking for to confirm that is just one more push up in here in the market and over here in XRP, and everything just seems to be moving right on track. And again, I really wanted to show you this thing over here in the Russell 2000 to again reiterate, it seems to be moving along with this. You could see what the Russell has done. It has already reclaimed that whole move that happened in there. If we were to reclaim that whole move that we had happen over here in crypto, again, that literally puts us right back here. So that's what we're waiting on right now. But again, for XRP, reiterating, that move happening in there, a violent back test after a breakout, pretty normal. And so long as we do shift back up there throughout the whole market, then everything still just seems to be on track here. So we'll have more videos, we'll have more discussions on it on a bigger perspective, but I wanted to put together something of what I'm seeing going on there today and then kind of reiterate why would we look for that violent backtest to happen in there after XRP has already taken out the 2021 high, and when does that typically show up? And you got to see it for yourself. This is typically where it happens. So that hasn't deviated. That's not different. That's exactly what you would look for. The big complication is just the rest of the market, right? But for XRP in particular, that's really exactly what you were looking for. So now we're just looking for a range boundary to come into play here and then to shift back up to the top of the range and then probably range a little bit longer before we can get out of here. But otherwise, things look okay. So we'll check on it again tomorrow. You guys go check out the newsletter over here at blockchainbacker.substack.com. The most recent one comes with a 25-minute audio recording, and you, of course, get access to all the past newsletters as well. If you sign up over here, you can check out bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. There are links in the descriptions of each of my videos to the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com and to bcbacker.com. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.